it's Linda here. Thanks so much for joining me today as I play with the gorgeous new Altenew Hibiscus Garden 3D die set. Now, it's certainly not a cheap set, this one, but I fell in love with it when I saw it, and thank you so much, Turquoise, for letting me play with your set. I have just had the most beautiful time creating these tags today. So when I first saw this set, I knew I really wanted to get vibrant and bright and have these hibiscus really jumping off the card at you. Well, in this case, I've made tags today, but certainly I did achieve the bright, happy colours that I was hoping for. So I grabbed out my Zig Clean Colour Real Brush markers, and it's them that I've used today to create the cardstock that I then die cut from. So you can see me here with all my pieces starting to create the different coloured backgrounds that I'll then die cut from. So the first colour, this one that I'm just going over again here, is Carmine Red, and as you can see it's just a matter of laying down the colour. I'm using a large aqua brush to spread the colour around, lots of water being squeezed out, and you can get that really beautiful vibrant colour, which is exactly what I was looking for today. I really wanted these beautiful hibiscus dyes to just pop off the page. So I had Carmine Red first, then dark pink. The one you just saw me do was purple, and now I'm on to pink for this one. That will give me enough bright colours to die cut all the hibiscus that I need, and now I'm working on the cardstock for the leaves. First of all, I used green, then deep green, and then mixing those two together, and you get a lovely splotchy but beautiful green background. Going back with a little bit more water to try and blend a few sections, and then this is light green mixed with turquoise green. Oh, I love that colour so much, and that gives me a nice lighter version of green cardstock that I'm then able to die cut. You saw that I had my Bristol Smooth watercolour cardstock out at the beginning. That's certainly what I have used for all of my tags today. I then mixed together a dark brown and a grey, and that will be the little centre sections on the hibiscus, and then an orange and a yellow, and this will be for their bright stamens in the centre. So just finishing off these last little watercoloured pieces, letting them dry, and then of course it's a matter of all the die cutting. There are a lot of pieces in this set. Thankfully you've got the guide that comes with the Altenew sets, so that shows you exactly what goes where, and there you can see all the pieces that I cut today. So I did 2 of the large hibiscus, 1 smaller hibiscus, then 2 of the smaller flowers, 2 of the large monstera sort of leaves, and a couple of the more ferny looking leaves, just as extra little fillers. So then it's just a matter of using a liquid adhesive and adhering everything in place, following the guide that you get with the Altenew sets. Really, you can't go wrong. It shows you exactly where everything goes, and it's just a matter of adding your liquid adhesive. That gives you a bit of wiggle room then if you're not too sure where things go, and I did need that at times, and then you can layer up all your pieces. Now, you do remember me saying I wanted things to be bright today, so I knew I wanted to ink blend some beautiful bright backgrounds. I decided to go with tags in the end rather than just a card, so I've got 3 tags today, and I'll give these away to a girlfriend as a little gift. So the first tag you've just seen me finish uses Distress Oxide inks, Peacock Feathers, Twisted Citron and Mustard Seed. Certainly the Distress Oxides are so easy to blend. There is no issue at all getting them blended, getting the colour on. It comes on so thick and creamy, it's very easy. Then I went to my Distress inks for the next 2 tags because I don't have all the colours in the oxides, and nor do I need them, but I then chose 3 colours for each tag from my Distress inks, and the first colour I've used is Tattered Rose. Now I've moved on to Abandoned Coral. So Tattered Rose is quite a light pink, so I really had to ink up my blending sponge really well, and I'm going back to the Tattered Rose here, getting more and more ink on, reapplying, rubbing it into the ink, really trying to juice up that applicator sponge. I find that that is the best way to get a good blend. You really want to have a fair bit of ink on your sponge, but dab it off so you don't get those marks. But if your sponge is dry, you're going to have a very difficult time blending. So really do get a fair bit of ink on your sponge and then dab it off. I actually also find that the newer sponges I've bought are more synthetic-y or something. The material that they're made of is not as nice, and they don't seem to fill up with ink and become as soft as the older sponges. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. I come to use the colour Spiced Marmalade, and it's a sponge I've had for 5-6 years, and it is so well used and inked up and juicy that the ink, Spiced Marmalade, just goes on so easily. Mind you, this is a very juicy ink pad too, this candied apple, and I have no trouble getting a nice coverage of that on my tag either. But you do see I really rub my sponge, my applicator, into the ink so that I really do make sure I've got a fair bit of ink. Now, Peacock Feathers is my second colour. I just use a little bit of notepaper to hold on to my tag so that I'm not getting inky fingers, which of course can be a problem. Adding the Peacock Feathers next to the candied apple, and I really do want these to be nice and vibrant, so I'm really going back and getting more and more ink each time and making those two colours meet, and then I'll go back to the candied apple and blend out that line that you can see is forming there. So it's just a matter of reapplying and reapplying. I'm back to the candied apple now, just softening out that line that had formed between those two colours. And here I am finishing off this tag with the Spiced Marmalade and the beautiful soft sponge I mentioned before. Just a softer material, and it just really seems to soften up and make it very easy for you to apply that ink. So getting the coverage on there, going back to the picked raspberry and just blending those two out, and then my 3 tags are all ready for my hole punching. So I'm just going to punch a little hole in the top of each tag with my crocodile, which I seem to have had for a lot of years and haven't used it in quite a while, but it certainly comes in handy when you want to pop a hole in the top of your tags. So I've sort of decided which flowers and foliage are going on which tags. So I'm just holding that all in place there, and then I'm lifting up each piece, adding my liquid adhesive. I do add some of the flowers with foam adhesive, and I do have 3 sentiments die cut that I'm going to add. They're in bold black glitter cardstock, and I just thought the black would really stand out with the bright colours today. So just adding some foam adhesive to the back of this hibiscus, then I can stick it down on top of the one that has been adhered straight onto the tag, and then I can just hide that little thanks under some of the leaves of the fern there, and that will be the first tag finished. I do stick down one of the sentiments, the birthday one. I stick that down, mounting it on some craft foam for extra dimension, so that's this one here. So first of all, just again adhering all the little elements, working out where I want them to go, how far I want them to hang off. And in this case, that word birthday, I will stick it onto some craft foam that I've also cut with the same word die, and that way I'll get the dimension that I need for that tag. So here I am just adding the liquid adhesive to the craft foam piece. I haven't removed the word from the craft foam yet, and then I can stick the black glitter one on top and easily remove the whole lot. I just wanted to show you at the end this ball of twine that I've used for all 3 tags. It's a fabulous coloured twine, and as you can see, you get different colours all the way along the twine, which is great. I'll leave you with some photos now. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you again soon.